Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
I don't know, it was just my day. To be really honest, I just trying to get open shots and the shots that we always practice and when we're in practice, you know, I was making it today.
And what a game for Michael Carrera last night. One of the true outstanding individual performances in USC basketball history. I mean, how many times have the Gamecocks, excuse me, how many times have the Gamecocks had somebody go plus 30 in points and 15 rebounds in a single game? I bet you can count it on one hand.
The closest guy to do it was, I guess it was against Alabama. Kentucky was Bachman with about 28 points.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking even way on back. I mean, the days of maybe like a Tom Owen, somebody who could score and get rebounds. Who else would be in that category of somebody who could have done that over the years, score and get rebound? Not many. So that was a heck of a performance last night for Carrera at a time when the Gamecocks really needed a good performance from him and from the team pro to bounce back from the win last night. It's 18 wins. Alabama coming to town on Saturday. I think they were handled last night, and a chance to get some revenge for their first loss of the season. So a chance for the Gamecocks to really benefit from these two home games this week.
Well, yeah, Alabama came from behind, by the way, in the last 3 minutes and beat Tennessee. Yes.
Okay.
Alabama
I left it and didn't
game.
realize they had won.
Yeah.
I saw the two other great comebacks last night. I saw Georgia almost pull one out after being left for dead, and Virginia did pull one out after being left for dead.
Poor Wake Forest. They had a 7-point lead with 20 seconds.
Unbelievable.
But that's what that three.
But Georgia was down 11 with like a minute to go. And I mean, even LSU's coach put his jacket on. Fans were leaving. You know, it was like this thing's over. And all of a sudden they started knocking down threes, got a steal, free throws, and they had a chance to tie at the end.
Well, what scares you about LSU is the fact that somewhere along the line, that light is going to come on. That is a dangerous basketball team. Their problem is now they've got to collect some wins so they can get in the tournament. And let's face it, if they're anywhere near that tournament, there's no way they're going to let that kid be one and done without getting in the NCAA tournament. They'll find a way to the tournament because he's a fantastic ball player. Generally the type of ball player that is too unselfish. He should take over a game. He's a 35, 15 rebound a game type player.
All right, Clemson and Pittsburgh tonight up in Greenville. K-Mac is there for that. We'll hear from him, talk about the Tigers and the Panthers as Clemson returns to action. USC football gets a commitment today from a tight end, and there's a bunch more big news in recruiting we'll tell you about. Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, here on a Wednesday night. Of course, Wednesday nights busy with basketball. Clemson tipping off tonight at 7 o'clock up in Greenville. K-Mac is there for that. Against Pittsburgh. Should be a heck of a game. The Tigers had plenty of time to rest, get ready for this one, and see if they can continue the fine play that's helped them get off to a 5-2 league start. But they're going to be facing a very tough, talented, and physical Pittsburgh team tonight that, like Clemson, is vying for a top spot in the ACC. Panthers are 5-2, like the Tigers, and they are 16-3 overall. And the winner of this game, of course, will be up there with North Carolina and Louisville and Miami at the top of the ACC standings.
Well, when you look at Pittsburgh, I'll go back to the story when Mike Bibby was traded to the Atlanta Hawks. They had to go to Utah, and the players were amazed and said, "What are you doing?" And what Mike Bibby was doing, Phil, is he was putting hip pads in his uniform. He said, "Well, why are you doing that? We're playing Utah tonight. Don't you know they've run you in the picks? Always put hip pads on when we play when we play to Utah." Clemson should use some hip pads because that's what Pittsburgh's going to do. Run them into a lot of screens.
6'9", 245, 6'9", 235, 6'7", 220.
Mm-hmm.
And their backcourt 6'4", 6'3". I mean, good size. They start 2 graduate students, a senior and 2 juniors. They're older, they're big, and they have been good for many years. Dixon, a fantastic coach, 323 wins. Pittsburgh's a high-scoring team. This will be a test on Clemson's defense. They average over 81 points per game, yet they can D you up. They're allowing just under 66 points per game. Clemson beat Pittsburgh last year in Pittsburgh. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
A terrific performance, 71-62. Blossom game had 18. And they've had some strange moments in Pittsburgh over the years. Remember the game at Littlejohn a couple of years ago, I think it was, the shot that was right before the buzzer from the baseline that Pittsburgh made, and there was a lot of controversy. Did he beat the buzzer? Did he not? And went against Clemson at that time. So this should be an excellent game. Deshaun Watson also being honored tonight as the College Football Player of the Year in South Carolina. K-Mac is there for that, and hopefully we'll hear from Deshaun Watson. Bottom of this hour, Chad Holbrook, USC baseball coach, will join us as we had Monty Lee on last night. We had Jack Leggett on Friday night, though Jack's not coaching a team. We're talking college baseball now with the start of baseball practice for everybody coming up on Friday. All right. If you want to jump on the program, here's how you do it. 800-956-7266. 800-956-7266. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com and on Twitter @sportstalksc. Glad to have you with us. If you're listening to us driving around over the radio, the old-fashioned way to listen to Sports Talk over 32 years, through your back to the days of the transistor radio, then eventually FM. And now you're getting us. We appreciate that through our affiliates. Should you ever lose us over the airways, we remind you we have audio and video streams of Sports Talk on our website, sportstalksc.com. Plus, several of our stations are available through iHeartRadio and or the TuneIn app. So we invite you to check those out as well. Should you lose us and you want to stay with us, that's how you can do it. South Carolina today gets a commitment. Tied in Evan Henson, 6'5", 210, Deltona, Florida. Muschamp was there this morning, and he committed, picked USC over Southern Cal. And he likes the feel of the USC program, his fit. He liked the players, and also being closer to home was important to him too. He's also a very good basketball player and could see some time perhaps doing the 2-sport thing if it can get worked out. But that is another good pickup for USC. Gives them 23 newcomers for the next class. The other big news coming out from last night, Rashawn Gary, his mother telling us last night that he will visit Clemson this weekend. So that's huge for the Tigers. I mean, All they ever want, as any school does, is to get you on campus for an official visit and a chance to sell you. It appears Michigan is the strongest or may be the favorite. He's got several friends that go to Michigan, plus his former coach at his high school is an assistant coach at Michigan now. So there's a lot of strong ties there at Michigan.
Does he have family in the Anderson area or somewhere?
His uncle is an assistant basketball coach at Anderson College. So, you know, they come down to Clemson. They come to the upstate quite a bit. And that's one of the reasons that South Carolina and Clemson both started recruiting him heavily because of the family ties. And eventually he visited USC and Clemson and eventually settled more towards Clemson than USC. Clemson does have a official visitor on campus today, Kawan Wallace, defensive back from Highland Springs, Virginia, on an official visit today and tomorrow. And the Big Spur reported that the defensive lineman from Philadelphia, Diabute, Karamo Diabute, is going to take an official visit to USC, maybe starting tomorrow. You see, what's happened with the new recruiting schedule is that there are fewer weekends in January to get these official visits, and when a player changes his mind or starts to like somebody late, he's already taken his 5, or he doesn't. See, Diabute has an all-star game he's playing this weekend, so he can't take a visit this weekend. So now you're taking these midweek visits to get them on campus and get that official visit in. We will have a complete, detailed, meaty, and juicy recruiting report for you tonight.
Because it's going to be as long as he can.
No, it'll be in the 10-minute range. It's 6:45, the 10-minute range. A couple of other notes to pass along to you tonight. Let's see. Well, let's see. Hate to the sad news out of NASCAR, the passing of Barney Hall, who to those of us who grew up listening to NASCAR on the radio for many years, he was the voice of NASCAR for all those years. He and Eli Gold, for the most part, teaming up to be a great team on MRN radio, and he did over 50 years of NASCAR on the radio. He died at the age of 83, a native of Elkin, North Carolina, member of the National Motorsports Hall of Fame, and just a terrific broadcaster. He got into it quite accidentally. He got free tickets as a local radio personality to a race and started attending races in the 50s. Then he was offered $75 for a weekend of public address duties at Bridge 60, and then it went on from there. So sorry to hear about the passing of Barney Hall. The Panthers and Broncos continuing with their workouts today. We've got the practice report from both camps as we look at the injured guys and were they able to practice? Let's see. Peyton Manning, full practice today. DeMarcus Ware, full practice. Brandon Marshall, full practice. He's dealing with a shoulder. Let's see. John Bush with the Broncos, shoulder injury, full practice today. Darian Stewart did not practice today with the Broncos because of a knee. With the Panthers, Thomas Davis, Charles Johnson, Ryan Khalil, Jonathan Stewart, Mike Tolbert, Ozzie Whitaker all did not practice today. And Robert McLean and Kawan Short were all limited in practice today with the Panthers. So getting closer now. Pretty soon they'll be getting on the planes, heading out to Santa Clara and have media day on Tuesday, the craziness that is NFL Super Bowl media day. And then they won't do that much work out in California as far as the preparation. Most of that's taking place in Denver and Charlotte right now.
Key point now is getting rest and staying away from those family members who want to take all your time while you're out there.
All right, 800-956-7266. Dial us up. We'll be right back. Good to have you with us here on Sports Talk, your best 2 hours of any given day as we come to you from Main Street, Columbia, because we are the Sports Talk show of Main Street, South Carolina, from the coast to the mountains and all points beyond. Let's go to your phone calls, and it's JC in Myrtle Beach. Good to have you with us.
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
We're good, sir.
Listen, I wanted to bring up a point about college basketball and get your guys' opinions on it. A few weeks ago, South Carolina and Memphis played, and I think there were 99 free throws shot in that game. And last night, I was looking through, and I believe it was the Georgia LSU game. I might be wrong. It might have been another one, but there were 55 fouls called in that game. And from my perspective as someone, and I'm in my 30s, but college basketball to me seemed to be a lot more watchable when I was younger than it is now. And I'm just wondering if you think that if the number of fouls and the number of free throw attempts, that are shot continue to, stay at the rate that they're at. I mean, is this something that college basketball needs to worry about as far as its viewership? Because to me, it's a far less popular sport than when it was, maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And I just want to get your guys' take on that. I'll hang up and listen. Thank you, guys.
It's still very popular, but I think they want to avoid all the contact. But let me point something out to you. It's interesting. And this is not anything that hasn't been discussed, I don't think, is with the size of the player need to wide court. I mean, when Wilt came in, they widened the lane, and sometimes these
I'm not sure you have
so
players
big
who are dedicated to proper defensive principles and things of that nature too. How much time do kids spend working on their defense? They spend all their time working on their dunks. The mid-range jump shot's pretty much a thing of the past. Guys either shooting threes or trying to go in for fancy dunks. How many true postmen are there in college basketball anymore? Back to the basket, feed the post kind of guy, split the post and drive to the basket. You don't see because I think some of that is, of course, the erosion of college basketball talent annually to the NBA. Not so much as it was a few years ago, since they at least have to go 1 year to the NBA. Who knows how much longer that's going to be in place. But I wonder how much of these fouls are just laziness on the defensive side, reaching the rules. And a lot of these fouls, too, now are the result of the change in the rules about the hand checking. No, you can't touch the guy. They don't want you to impede the guy with the basketball to try to create more offense. So if you're touching him, in the past, you could give a guy a forearm shiver, put your hands on him, kind of force him away. Today, you can't do that.
No, but I will say this. If you look at a basketball game, a lot of the fouls called on the offensive player are retaliation fouls. It's real slick. When those guys lift weights and they exercise, watch a dribble to get close to the guy and then hook him right quick and past him. So it's the offensive player that's impeding the defensive player because they're creating the contact.
All right. Thanks for your phone call. Chad Holbrook, only fouls he has to worry about is a foul ball. He'll join us after the break. back at Sports Talk South Carolina Radio Network here on a Wednesday night. Good to have you with us. Bill Kornblut and the Professor Tom Hayes. Kevin McCrary on his way to Greenville. In fact, he's there. He's there for the Clemson and Pittsburgh basketball game tonight. We'll be hearing from him in a little bit. Right now, though, baseball schedule. Baseball season is scheduled to get underway from a practice standpoint starting on Friday for the colleges all across the country. USC will have a scrimmage on Friday at 4 o'clock and scrimmages through the weekend, one on Saturday at 12:30 open to the public. And Coach Pat Holbrook joins us now, ready to go with another season. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, Phil. How are you guys?
We're good. Good to have you with us. And from listening to you in the off season, things that you've been saying, I know you're very optimistic about this coming season, feel good about this team. But now it's time to put it on the field and let the action replace the words.
Yeah, you don't play the game on paper, and just because the recruiting class was ranked high, that doesn't mean that doesn't guarantee the victories or trips to Omaha or anything like that. It's time to play. You got to go between the white lines and earn every chance you get, and so we are excited that practice obviously is getting cranked up on Friday, and heck, we're about 3 weeks away from opening day, so. Obviously, there's a sense of urgency around the stadium, and kids are getting their work in, pitchers are getting their bullpens, getting their arms in shape, and hopefully, through these 9 to 11 scrimmages that we'll have prior to opening day, we'll answer some of the questions our coaching staff has in regards to who we're going to put out on the field opening day. But it has been a good group. It's been a group that's worked hard and had a great semester academically in the fall. They've done a lot of good things, and they've practiced well. And they played well in the fall. So I'm anxious to put them out there against some other teams and see where we stand.
Have you seen, after missing the tournament last year, especially some of the returning guys, have you seen the hunger, the drive, the desire that you wanted to see coming off of last year?
I think so, yeah. There's no doubt we've seen that. Now, that doesn't guarantee you're going to go out there and play great baseball or anything like that. But there's no doubt that our leadership has been very direct with their teammates in regards to what did occur last year, and they pushing each other a little bit hard, not a little bit, a lot harder. There's been more morning workouts this academic year than I can remember in recent memory. And the kids have responded well in the weight room. They've responded well to conditioning. Like I said, they've done everything we've asked them to do, and there's some great leadership within the team. I think the locker room gets along, the entire locker room gets along with each other. But everybody gets along now. Every coach right now says you have great chemistry and camaraderie and all that stuff. And, but because you hadn't lost the game yet, and you hadn't put a lineup up, and you hadn't put people on the bench or had to make some cuts. So everybody's feeling good right now, but this group is going to handle adversity the right way. I think they're going to play for the name on the front of the jersey and not the name on the back. I think they have all those intangibles that coaches talk about all the time. So I am anxious to get opening day here and anxious to get started, and I do feel good about our team as we go into the year.
Who have emerged as those leaders, the guys that are pushing everybody in that weight room, in that locker room, on the field?
Well, I think the guy that comes to surprise a newcomer, one of the guys is a kid named Dom Thompson-Williams, an outfielder from Iowa, who was a terrific player for us in the fall, was senior college All-American, very gifted athlete. He's been really encouraging to see a newcomer like that come on from a leadership standpoint. Everyone on the locker room respects him. They know he's a good player, but he wants to win, and he's made that very, very clear to his teammates. DC Arendis has been a great leader as a senior, and he's had some big moments for us in his career here. And, he wants to go out on his senior year in a good manner and in the postseason have a chance to go to the College World Series. So he's been a great leader. And we've had some, sophomores and juniors that have stepped up as well. Leader for our pitching staff. He's done some really, really neat things. And Marcus Mooney is another senior that's played a lot of shortstop for us this year that a lot of his teammates thought he should be the captain of our team. And so I feel good about our leadership, and we do have some veteran guys leading the way.
Remind us who will be out when practice begins. I know a couple of pitchers. Anybody else? Remind us of those guys and anybody else that's going to miss the start of practice.
That's a good thing. Outside of Will Crow and Cody Moore, two freshmen, one freshman pitcher, and obviously a Friday night guy from a year ago, and we knew that those guys would be out this year. But they, outside of that, all our guys from the fall are healthy and ready to go. And another one of the exciting things, that we're excited about on Friday is it's probably going to be the first time that we've been all on the field together, healthy, 100%. No one's at the doctor, no one's in the training room. We're 100% ready to go. Our whole team's together. And we had a couple guys out in the fall. Gene Cohn was out in the fall. Taylor Widener was out in the fall. One of our freshman catchers that we think so highly of, Chris Cullen, was out in the fall. Freshman left-handed pitcher named Kyle Anderson was out in the fall. So we had a number of guys out in the fall. They're all healthy and ready to go. And so it'll make me get a better sense of what we have when we all get out there together.
Sounds like the head coach needs to go to the doctor.
I do have a cough, and I do apologize.
No, that's okay.
But I'll get through this.
I've been fighting the same thing for 3 weeks. I know exactly what you're going through. You mentioned Cullen, the catcher, and he's supposed to be a pretty special backstop, and from him from the outset.
Well, we got one of the things last year. I thought we were a little bit weak behind the plate last year when we had a freshman who was talented, but maybe needed a year under his belt, and we were just a little bit inexperienced back there. The catching position is so important. It's kind of like being a point guard in basketball, quarterback in football. If you're average behind the plate in our school, a good team can become mediocre in a hurry. And just like in football, a great football team might become average with an average quarterback. That's kind of coaches speak, but it has a lot of validity to it. And so we got three guys that are. It's going to be very, very difficult for me to almost start opening day. Cohen's he's 5. He's another kid that I was out in the fall that helped me 100%. Love watching him work out over the last few weeks. Hunter Taylor's back and he's much improved from a year ago. He was a year under his belt, but he worked extremely hard to become an elite catcher, and I think he's ready to do some great things for us. And then we brought a junior college kid in, named Johnny Jones from Manatee Junior College in Florida, and he's a JUCO All-American type player, and he's very gifted. He's a switch hitter. So we have 3 really good catchers that we feel good about all 3 of them. And there's a pretty intense competition going on. Somebody saying here who's going to be the opening day catcher.
All right, Brandon McElwain. What are your plans for him?
I knew I couldn't get off the interview without this question about Brandon. Brandon he's done great. He's been at every workout. He's worked extremely hard. The talent is easy to see. The ball flies off his bat. It's easy to see when you throw him bat in practice why he was projected to be a first or second rounder. It's kind of special watching him take bat in practice and watching him run around the field. He's still got a lot to learn, and we got to remember that he's still a senior in high school, so to speak, and not put too much on him too quick. But yet at the same time, he's been removed from baseball since August. So, he's just getting his feet wet, and he's going to see his first live pitch since August on Friday. So we'll see how quick he adjusts and how quick he gets ready. Is he athletic enough to help us? Absolutely. The ball flies off his bat. If he can show that he can adjust and handle the breaking ball and use the whole field and that sort of thing, it's going to be hard to keep him out of the lineup. But at the same point in time, we're going to take it slow with him. We got some experienced outfielders we feel very, very good about. And we got some young outfielders that we feel good about. So, but Brandon, we're thrilled to have him on the roster, and we think.
All right, Coach, if you don't mind, hang on. I want to get a couple more questions into you, let you blow your nose or whatever. And we'll come back a little more with Chad Holbrook in a moment. Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, visiting with USC baseball coach Chad Holbrook for just a couple of more minutes. Back to McElwain. So what have you and Coach Muschamp and the football staff, what have y'all worked out as far as his availability with baseball versus football once spring practice begins?
Well, you know, if he's in our starting lineup and, you know, he's a major contributor to our team and, yeah, he's playing every day, then, you know, he's not going to have to worry too much about football on days that we have a game or that we're, you know, that we're in the middle of an important practice or anything like that. But, you know, looking at our two schedules, he's going to be able to be over there quite a bit. Whether he's playing every day or not, their practice times are a little bit different than ours. Their practice days are a little bit different than ours. And so, you know, we're going to be able to, you know, work it out just fine. And if he's in a situation in which he's a reserve for us on a day that we have practice or we have a game and he's a reserve, then he's going to be at football practice. And then he'll come over to baseball as soon as he gets done with practice, if, you know, and so he can be available for our game. So that's just kind of how it's going to work. But if he's playing for us every day, Coach Muschamp doesn't want to take him away from us. And that was kind of the same type of agreement we had, you know, with a few football players in the past when Coach Spurrier was here. And it's a situation where I think it'll work out just fine. And Brandon's excited about playing football. He's excited about playing baseball. And we're lucky. Our university athletic department is lucky to have him.
Sure. Now, we've seen some of the football in recent years, and they didn't have a great impact in baseball. Does this kid have a chance to have a great impact in baseball, and where would he play?
Yeah, he does have a chance. Now, he might not have a huge impact as a freshman, but he may. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not going to count the kid out. I mean, he is a talented kid, and it's just to determine how much he makes an impact on our baseball team this year. It just determines how quickly he adjusts to the college game and how comfortable he can get in a quick amount of time. But he can do it. He has the talent to do it. There's no doubt about that. Brandon's a very disciplined kid. This is why I think it's going to work. He's very disciplined. He's very organized. He's very responsible. He's takes care of his body off the field. He's a great student. He's all business all the time. And I think his focus, his determination will give him a great opportunity to excel in both sports. And if anybody can do it, this young man can do it. And you know, if he does it for us this year as a freshman, it'll be in the outfield spots. And if he swings it well enough and he learns to play the game out there in the outfield and throw to the right bases and run the bases, you know, a correct way, which he will because he's so dang fast, then we'll find a place to play him. And he's anxious and chomping at the bit to work himself in the lineup. So we'll see how
thing. And of course, you've got 3 weeks of camp to sort things out. But what are you looking at right now for your starting rotation and the back end of the bullpen?
Yeah, I mean, those are questions that we're going to answer as we go through the scrimmages. You know, outside of Clark Schmidt being a weekend, you know, a probable weekend guy, and a kid named Braden Webb, a freshman from Oklahoma, those two kids have got a chance to. They got special arms, and they're more suited to start. So we feel good about those guys in the starting rotation in some way, shape, or form. Now, that doesn't mean Braden will throw on Saturday or Sunday or Friday. He might throw on Tuesday, but he's going to be a starting pitcher for us. His arm's too good. His stuff's too good. And we certainly look forward to letting Braden pitch some important innings for us. Taylor, what are we going to do with Taylor Widener? Are we going to keep him in the bullpen? And we look forward to seeing him pitch because he was out all fall. We got some other guys. Brandon Murray had a pretty good freshman year last year. He's made significant improvement. We're going to keep Brandon in the bullpen, or we're going to start him. Probably our most valuable pitcher of the fall was a kid named Josh Reagan, who's a much improved pitcher from a year ago. And he could start, but he could also help us big time in the bullpen, as could Reed Scott. So we got a lot of guys that we're very comfortable with pitching in big situations. I don't know yet what spots we're going to put them in, just because we're just not there yet. We hadn't seen how all these freshmen or how all these injured guys are bouncing back from their injuries, or how the freshmen respond to the college game. Adam Hill's a big-time freshman recruit and got a great arm and looked great today in his bullpen. And we want to give him the ball. But do we bring him along slowly and let him come out of the bullpen, or we just throw him right in the fire? So those are questions that we have to answer as we go through these 11, 12 scrimmages before opening day.
Warm bourbon, I was told, is very good to open up the passages. Warm bourbon.
With a little touch of
Add to it. You know, that's your call. Hope you feel better, and thank you for being with us, and we'll see you Friday at your press conference, and then we'll roll from there.
Okay, Phil. Well, thanks for having me, and look forward to seeing you on Friday and throughout the spring at Founders Park.
You got it, sir. Thank you very much, and don't forget scrimmages at USC this weekend beginning on Friday. Be right back. Well, this is one of those rare exceptions where we're pushing recruiting back because of Coach Holbrook interview, and also we want to get up to K-Mac, who is in Greenville. Clemson and Pittsburgh going to be tipping it off shortly. He joins us now from the Well. This should be a heck of a game. You saw a good one last night. You should see a good one tonight.
Yeah, if you like defense, I think this will be your game. Both these teams like to play defense, and they like really get in your face. This will probably be a grind it out the game.
How's the crowd looking as the stands start to fill? I would imagine there'll be a good crowd on hand with this Clemson basketball team having a very good record and being a nationally ranked powerhouse team.
People are filling in. It's a late arriving crowd, Corn. I think there was an accident on 123. I was told that might be bottlenecking things a little bit outside of the arena, and it is a little difficult. It can be difficult anyway to get in and out of here. But right now it is a sparse crowd with about 90 seconds to tell tip.
Yeah, you're right about that. Now, one thing that they've had an issue with is traffic outside these ACC games, backing up, filling the garages, and people trying to get in by tip-off. It's just been a tough thing. Switching to football real quick, you were there, Deshaun Watson getting the award. Any news coming out of the conversation with the Tiger quarterback?
No, he said he's just focused on next season. A lot of goals on the table for him. He was asked if he thinks about the future in the NFL, and he said yes, but he wants to graduate in 3 years. That's his goal, to lead Clemson back to the championship game, to win it. A lot of things on the table for him. He still feels like he has work to do at Clemson, but certainly he knows that he's going to be a highly coveted guy moving forward, and now he is kind of the face of college football.
Yeah. All right. this Pittsburgh team back to basketball and watching them warm up and seeing them in person, how physical and big do they look to you?
Very physical and very big. I mean, this is going to be a team that is going to be very difficult to score baskets on.
Yeah, they remind me of those old Sonny Smith teams at Auburn, where Dean Smith once complained when they got upset by Auburn in the Sweet 16. He said it looked like there's 5 linebackers dressed in basketball uniforms.
Well, you made a good point about put your pads on when you go around these guys setting picks, and they do play that old Big East physical brand of basketball that we used to love when the original Big East was together.
Yeah.
That's a shame that
but it's
of course it's helped the ACC having Louisville and Pittsburgh in from a basketball standpoint, but that Big East, when they were nasty, and that was good basketball. All right, K-Mac, thank you. We'll catch you at halftime. When we come back, give you the recruiting report for the day, last night and today. That'll take us a little while to get through that. Got a lot of stuff for you. Some comments from USC coach Frank Martin following his team's win last night, and we'll take more of your phone calls, talking basketball, talking upcoming spring football, baseball, and, of course, recruiting in the next hour. 800-956-7266, the number.
Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
Okay, we're back. Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network. They're underway up in Greenville. We'll keep you up to date. Pittsburgh and Clemson. And we'll hear from K-Mac a little bit later on. Let's get to the recruiting report now. We'll take us a little while to get through all this, I think. USC got the commitment today from tight end Evan Henson, 6'5", 210, Deltona, Florida. He picked USC over Southern Cal in a true East-West battle. Visited Los Angeles last weekend. Had visited USC earlier. And after his USC visit, he talked about his relationship with Muschamp and his tight end coach. He liked the players. He was comfortable. SEC. And then after visiting LA, and he really liked Southern Cal, said the two visits were very similar. But the distance was a factor for him. And so that helped South Carolina here. He's a two-sport athlete, also excels in basketball. He was once committed to Miami. He also had offers from Florida and South Florida, interest from Tennessee. So a very solid pickup for the Gamecocks, I would say. Gives 23 newcomers for the 2016 roster. All right, John Simpson of Fort Dorchester drawing quite the crowd of football coaches tonight as he wrestles for the Patriots for the first time this season. Most of the USC staff will be in attendance tonight, though Coach Steve LaPrade says he does not believe Will Muschamp will be on hand because of another prospect he has to see. LaPrade told us, quote, Coach Elliott was here early, and I think Coach Bentley was running around. I think all of them are coming to the wrestling match tonight. I don't know if Muschamp is coming or not. I think he might have flown somewhere else. Most of them are coming, and I think Coach Sweeney is coming tomorrow. Florida was all here yesterday. The head man was here, the O-line coach, and Coach Rumph was here yesterday. Simpson has taken officials to LSU, Florida, and Clemson. He was planning Alabama this weekend, but LaPrade said that's been scratched, and USC's been hoping to get him as well. LaPrade said, quote, I don't think he's going anywhere this weekend. I think he's canceled the Alabama thing. I know LSU is still coming here and there. I don't know what he's really down to. He hasn't said no to a USC visit, but he hasn't said yes either. I'm sure that's why they're here tonight. So if they're going to get a visit, I'm sure it will be after tonight. And Simpson is planning to announce on signing day. Defensive lineman Rashawn Gary of Paramus, New Jersey, after consulting with family last night, decided to take his final official to Clemson this weekend, his mother told us. He's been deciding between Clemson and Alabama for the final visit. Boy, Alabama taking it on the chin here with a couple of big-time players not wanting to visit the Crimson Tide. His earlier officials were to Michigan, Auburn, Ole Miss, and Southern Cal. Plus, he made another unofficial to Michigan last weekend. He'll be in Atlanta tomorrow to receive the Bobby Dodd High School Football Player of the Year award. More coming up on Gary and other recruiting news in a moment. All right, back to the recruiting report in a moment. Up at Greenville, Pittsburgh and Clemson underway in their game, and it's been nip and tuck. Pittsburgh up 8-7, 5 minutes in. The lead has gone back and forth. Well, we've had 2 lead changes. It's kind of back and forth. Clemson at 50%, Pittsburgh at 44%. Blossom game off to a good start with 5 points for the Tigers. Young for Pittsburgh. All right, back to recruiting. Talking about Rashawn Gary. So he'll be in Atlanta tomorrow, Bobby Dodd High School Player of the Year. And then he'll go to Clemson for a visit this weekend. He was at Clemson over the Easter holiday, but several of the coaches were away. So this will give him a chance to be around everybody. And his uncle's an assistant basketball coach at Anderson College. So he has family in the upstate. So he's made several trips to the upstate before. Clemson assistant coaches Venables, Hobby, and Brooks were in to see him last week. And I believe that Sweeney is supposed to be in there it must be today because he's traveling tomorrow. So I think Sweeney was going to be in there today. The Columbus Ledger-Inquirer saying that Columbus native running back Justin Crawford, Northwest Mississippi Community College, had, of course, planned to visit USC this weekend, but instead will go to West Virginia. The Gamecocks have rescinded their offer to him. They did so after getting the commitment from Tyron Jones. They had 2 other running backs committed as well. Defensive back Kevon Wallace of Highland Springs, Virginia, confirmed he is taking an official to Clemson today and tomorrow. USC offered 2017 linebackers Jamal Riggins and Jerez Parks of Sebastian, Florida. Also 2018 defensive back Jalen Armour Davis of Mobile. And 2017 running back Darius Lemons of 2018 offensive lineman Tank Jenkins of Montgomery, Alabama. And today, 2017 defensive end Trey Lawson of North Augusta, all offered by USC. Lawson also has Tennessee and UNLV offers. Blythewood place kicker Cody Turner committed to Coastal Carolina. And Clemson offered 2017 receiver Angelo Gonzalez of Homestead, Florida. Quarterback Tylen Oden, who drew interest from USC, he's out of Columbia, Tennessee, committed to Rutgers. Former USC commitment, J.J. Givens, remember him, out of Mechanicsville, Virginia, a guy that came to camp and committed to the Gamecocks, to the old staff. And when the new staff came in, they must not have been too enthused about him or vice versa. They never really got close. So he committed to NC. Defensive end Jacoby Hill from Atlanta will visit USC this weekend. Remember, he had been telling us he hadn't heard from him, didn't know if the interest was still there, et cetera, et cetera. They apparently did get in touch, and he is going to visit. He's got USC, Memphis, and Indiana as his top 3. And according to the Big Spur, defensive lineman Karamo Diabate of Philadelphia will make an official visit to USC starting on Thursday. And I think that's all we've got for you for the time being. As we see other stuff, we'll pass it along. But that's the recruiting report for tonight. All right, 800-956-7266 if you want to jump on board. We can talk some recruiting, talk some basketball, a little college baseball. Of course, spring football practice will come up next after signing day. 1 week from today is signing day. But recruiting never ends, as we well know.
Yeah, now people say, signing day, and a lot of guys just do it that day, but the period is how long? How many weeks?
Several weeks. It goes on through February. I think signing day, and there's more than just football players that can sign, I think. I can look it up and see. It goes for several weeks. Mm-hmm. But most everybody, there's an exception here and there of a player who can't make up his mind or, wants to take some other official visits after the dead period is over. But for the most part, everybody wants to get it done on Wednesday.
And, it's interesting how the perception is of a recruiting class, but it is interesting to note that as Gamecock fans look at the list and say, boy, we're kind of moving up. We had a lot of defections. Our recruiting class was in disarray. And now you're seeing them in the upper 20s, about 28, 31 or something like that. But remember, after all the defections last year, South Carolina's recruiting class, whatever it was worth, was still ranked 19th. So when people batter the previous staff for not recruiting, they were doing something.
Mm-hmm. The football signing period runs through April 1st.
Okay.
Also on Wednesday, you'll have the signing period for soccer and water polo. ESPN will have complete coverage of water polo signing for you beginning at 7 o'clock in the morning. ESPNU has arranged for the top 20 water polo prospects in the country to announce their decisions live.
That's only for the West Coast.
From
people.
their respective swimming pools. They'll actually be in their pools and will sign. They're going to be using this type of ink that's waterproof so it doesn't wash off.
I understand there's some physical play in that sport too, because people don't see the
Come
kick.
on, it's water polo.
Yeah, the people don't see the kicking
It's treading
underwater.
water. It's treading water.
It's kicking people under the water too. They do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. Go ask Stanford and UCLA and all those West Coast schools why they have, or Arizona State. I'll walk through their Hall of Fame. They got a ton of national championships, and they got they got baseball. Excuse me, several baseball, but man, they got a ton of water polo and archery and track and field and stuff like that. Those West Coast teams.
I thought Arizona State used to be the
load
bomb.
up on all those.
What was that? Reggie Jackson went out there and played.
Mhm.
Maury Will's son Bump. Rick Monday went out there.
A guy named Bob
Horner
Yeah.
was out there.
All right, back to your phone calls we go. Adam in Rock Hill, thank you for waiting and welcome to Sports Talk. How you doing?
Pretty good. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Y'all were talking about recruiting earlier and everything. I just want to get your opinion on Clemson next year. I think their offense is going to be insanely powerful. The defense is losing a lot of people. Do you think they'll be back in the national championship?
Yes, I do. I don't think there's any reason to think otherwise. They're losing some good people on the back end of their defense. They got to find a cover corner who can shut down the opponent's best receiver. They lose Alexander from that standpoint. Curse gave them great in there because he was so fast and long striding. He could cover a lot of ground back there. Plus, being tall, he could get to a lot of balls. But they got some guys like that. But up front, now they're going to miss Goodson at linebacker, but they've got some good linebackers coming in. Up front, they should be very strong. And losing the two defensive ends, that's big. Lawson and Dodd, obviously quality players. But, they have recruited well up front. I could look for a guy like a Dexter Lawrence to come in and play early. Christian Wilkins being back after his freshman year, only going to get better. Logano's not Logano. It's I don't confuse him. No, it's what's the I'm confusing him with the stock car driver. You know what I'm talking about. It's anyway, they got guys returning who played a good bit this year and will get even better. I expect them to be just as good. Not Pagano, Scott Pagano, Sterling Johnson, who was the top defensive lineman in North Carolina. He redshirted this year, but he was outstanding. Austin Bryant, he's cut in that same mold of the guys he's replacing. He's going to be a star at defensive end.
Everybody knows who you are, and they do homework on you. You better find yourself a linebacker that can cover. Because Alabama used the tight end, which I said they were going to do, because that's one of the dangerous things Clemson does not do well, and they'll have to shore that up.
Now, Rashawn Smith, Trey Lamar, they'll be fine at those positions. Thanks for your phone call. Back in a moment.
proud of our guys. They responded to
Well, K-Mac was right. It was going to be a defensive battle out there, even though Pittsburgh's a team that averages 81 points a game midway through the half. They've got 12. Clemson's up 19-12, a 9-0 run for the Tigers, 12-2 run over the last 4 minutes and 40 seconds. And they're up 19-12 and looking to add. Pittsburgh 0 for 6, 2 for its last 10. Clemson at 44% shooting, Pittsburgh at 35%. Blossom game with 7, Roper with 5. For the Tigers, and Young with 6 for Pittsburgh. Rebounding battles 11-10 Clemson. Turnovers 3-2 Pittsburgh. Points in the paint, as you might expect, Pittsburgh doing damage there. 10 points to 4 for Clemson. So Tigers off to a good start. It's now a 22-14 game over in Greenville. So Clemson doing what they've been doing here of late, just playing good, sound basketball.
The threes. It's interesting that they're exploiting inside early, and now they're opening up for the threes, and they're hitting them. If they can hit a good amount of threes, Pittsburgh prefers to go inside. You'll take a 3-over-2 anytime.
Blossom game continues to blossom. He's got 10 points now for the Tigers, and you'd have to say if there was a mid-season all-ACC team, he'd have to be considered on the first team.
Well, yeah, because he's every well, I guess you could say he's a all-tool player because he can go outside, he can rebound, and the thing that surprised me this year is his outside stroke. He's extended that thing to the three-point line, and when you got a power guy with speed that can drive and finish at the rim, but also pull up and take that jumper. He's got it all right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not all ACC at the end of the year.
Well, he's averaging over 16 points, 7 rebounds per game. Those are excellent numbers. I know when it comes to the media voting for honors in this league, it's Tobacco Road heavy, and then your traditional, Louisville, Syracuse, people like that, and sometimes to get noticed from Clemson and Florida State and Georgia Tech and Miami. Really, honestly. You have to have a great individual season, and your team has to do extremely well. A Duke player, a North Carolina player, this isn't sour grapes. It's the way it is around the ACC. It's sort of like in the SEC with football. Alabama's going to have its players making the all-SEC football team, as will Auburn and Tennessee and LSU and Georgia and those people. You have to have an outstanding individual season, and your team has to do well to be noticed by some of these other teams. And Blossom Game is having that kind of season. And I think right now, if he continues to play at this rate, there's no doubt Clemson will continue to do well, and there's no doubt he will be an all-ACC performer, should be on the first team. 24-17, they've hit a media timeout, 7 minutes to go in the first half. And like I said, Blossom Game having another terrific game so far with 10 points. So, it's the kind of game Clemson likes. They got a little lead. It's low scoring. They're making Pittsburgh play at their speed. And Clemson's making some shots. And when they're making some shots along with everything else, they are a tough out, as is South Carolina, which won again last night. Frank Martin coming up in a moment. Hey, you want more from your education? Palmetto College offers the quality of a 4-year education online. And to find out more, visit palmettocollege.sc.edu. With Palmetto College, your future has no limits. Clemson is walking the dog on Pittsburgh right now, 29-17 Tigers. A 7-0 run over the last minute 49. 3 turnovers for Pittsburgh over the last 2.5 minutes. Clemson now Roper with 10 to go with Blossom Games 10. They are carrying the scoring load tonight for the Tigers, who are shooting 48%, but they've got 5 threes, 5 of 9 from 3.
Just don't go crazy with it, as they call it, fool's gold, if you start to throw them up from there. So they're still trying to work the ball inside, and Pittsburgh has 6 turnovers in the first half, and that's a large total for them. So Tigers are rebounding, hitting threes, turning Pittsburgh over, and that's why they've got that 13-point cush now.
Now an 8-0 run, 30-17. Noko knocking down some free throws for the Tigers, knocks down a pair, so 31-17. Clemson. We'll hear from K-Mac at halftime. Now, last night, South Carolina got it done, returning home to take on Mississippi State in front of about 13,000, 12,764 announced, doing what they do in the paint, winning 36-18. 18 points off the bench. 51 rebounds, annihilated Mississippi State on the boards last night. 51 rebounds, 18 offensive. Carrera had 15 boards. Cassius had 10 boards. Of course, Carrera, it was a career night for Carrera. 34 points, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks, and a steal. Now, he did practically everything. Dwayne Notice had 13. Thornwell got his touch back with 15 points last night. Also had a couple of assists. Overall, a good performance for the Gamecocks, 18-2 now, 5-2 in the SEC. Frank Martin talked about the performance afterwards.
Guys, they responded to the situation being our practices and our lack of playing the way we're supposed to play for the last 4 games or so. But we're proud of our guys. They were phenomenal in practice yesterday. Mike and Sindarius were incredible in practice today, yesterday. And no surprise, that translates into just unbelievable leadership by those guys in today's game. Continue to be concerned with turnovers. We commit the worst turnovers of any team I've ever coached. And I don't mean to be negative, because it's a heck of a win. Those guys are playing with a lot of confidence right now. It's a heck of a win for our guys. But turnovers and missed free throws are going to cost us. And I keep telling our guys, and our turnovers are awful. They're not turnovers where we're driving the ball, we beat our man, and somebody jumps in there and takes a charge. I mean, the guy guarding the ball is in front of us, and we just run him over. You can't do that. You just kind of lollygag the dribble and kind of jump in the air and throw it to them so it can go down and dunk the ball. We got a 3-on-1, and Sindarius pats it, kicks it, fumbles it, gets it, and throws it into the backcourt so they can go dunk it on the other side. Our turnovers are they're unbelievable. But that doesn't matter right now. What matters is that we played to our personality. We rebounded, got to the line, and we got a win in conference play. It gets us to 5-2, gets us to 18, which is the most that we've won since we've been here. So a lot of good from that game. Now we got to rest. That was a hard game. We got to rest.
Frank, a couple of questions.
I don't think we need the mic.
I mean,
yeah, I used to coach a guy named Michael Beasley. He bees Bill Walker. Those guys were. But it's good. I'm ecstatic for Mike because he's worked so hard and he cares about our team and this program like it's his family. And I'm ecstatic for his willingness to lead and to take on the responsibility of doing what good players do. I don't practice him at the 4. He doesn't get any reps at the four. When he's at the four, he knows what to do. 2 years ago, I couldn't get him to do anything. Now he does everything, and he don't even practice at the four. It's unbelievable courage by that young man, and what a great teammate.
And was it by design to just keep giving him the ball, especially as he was taking it inside and wait for those guys to jump on him?
Yeah, if I didn't run plays for him, I think my assistants would have fired me. I think my assistants were going to get rid of me. The plan was to post him and get him inside. We didn't want to post our five because Ware is big and strong. We wanted to drag Ware out of the paint and post our fours. Mendoga struggled there, but Michael was tremendous when he was at the 3 and the 4 in his post-ups.
You kind of alluded to what he did in practice yesterday, but how nice of it to see, and how big was it for y'all to get Sin going early in that game?
Yeah, Senderos a good player. You know, he's had a bad 10, 12-day period, and his approach has been bad, and he knows it. And when your approach is bad, you're not going to play well. It happens to everybody. There's not a player in maybe Steph Curry right now, but everyone else has a rough stretch during a season. And, Sin, he learned. Good players respond to adversity with an unbelievable desire to go compete again. They don't run away from it. They don't pout. They don't hang their heads. They know when they don't play well. They know when they don't prepare well. And when you're a good player, you can't wait to get an opportunity to do it again. And he got in foul trouble. If he doesn't pick up some of the, then everyone else I played at the point, all they did was throw it to the other team and commit fouls. So I had to protect him because I knew if it got late in the game, I needed him out there to play the point on offense at the end of the game. So I didn't play him as much as I'd like, but still, him, Mike, our team, their enthusiasm, the confidence. You guys have heard me say this, and you're going to get tired of listening to me say it. When we shoot free throws and we rebound, we're good. And that's what we did today. Those are two stats. For a guy that don't care about stats, those are two things when I pick up a stat sheet that I look at right away. Mendoga's 10, Michael 15, and then a bunch of guys are 4 and 5. That's who we are, that aggressiveness.
Frank, that stretch where you guys you're up 14, they cut it to 2, then you rebuild that lead. I mean, that's got to be a product of having maturity on the court as opposed to maybe a couple of years ago when that wasn't happening.
Yeah, that was earlier in the year. We had a handful of games. Clemson at Clemson. I want to say Hofstra or Tulsa, one or the other, where we had a big lead and they came back and it was a 1-possession game and we answered and rebuilt the lead. And at Auburn, we went through a similar situation. Big lead, they keep coming on the road, and we figured out a way to get stops. That's where you hope your team gets to, where your upperclassmen stop the bleeding, where you don't have to call timeout every 2 minutes because you can trust the guys on the court. And it's good. They're playing with a lot of confidence. They've been playing real well lately. I don't care what their record is in league play. They've been in a 1-possession game in every game except Kentucky in league play. They're a lot of confidence. Malik Newman is an unbelievable player. And like most freshmen, he's now hitting his stride. He's played a lot. He was banged up early in the year. So that's a good win for us, and it makes us feel good again, which we needed.
Okay, Frank Robinson. Frank Martin. I'm reading about a guy named Robinson. Frank Martin, his comments after the Gamecocks win last night. He pointed out the rebounding, the free throw shooting, getting to the line. 57 fouls called in that game last night. It must have been a little physical. So far up in Greenville, they've had 11 fouls called. Clemson leading 36-25. They're rolling down inside 2.5 minutes to go in the half. Coming up, Deshaun Watson and then K-Mac will join us from Greenville here on Sports Talk.
Somewhat. We had 2 weeks off before workout started back yesterday. So I got my rest in, of course, and
All right, things continuing to go just swimmingly for Clemson. 38 seconds to go in the half. They're up 40-26. Every time it looks like Pitt's going to make a deep run, Clemson responds. Blossom game's at 15 points now, 2 rebounds, an assist. He's 5 of 7. Roper's got 10. Tigers are shooting 48%. They're 5 of 10 from 3, 7 of 7 from the line. So they are getting it done, keeping their turnovers down. On the rebounding battle, 18-14. So good work so far for Clemson late in the half.
I know coaches look at everything with a basketball team, and I'm just wondering, if you're Brad Brownell, you got to be thinking, yeah, I got a talented group. Yes, I've got some seasoned veterans, but why are these guys playing so well? This is the Bon Secours Arena. This is not Little John Coliseum. Is it the relaxing bus ride to Greenville that gets them? So you got to figure out what it is. Maybe you ought to take them on a bus ride. Just go to Anderson and turn around and come to Little John.
Simply, Blossom Game is playing like an all-ACC player. But I think Holmes emerging as a quality point guard for them has really helped.
Oh, yeah.
Noko and Jitte getting the job done inside for him. So,
and then you get
DeVoe's giving him some good minutes. Once in a while, DeVoe was not a deep team, but the ones that are playing are getting it done. All right, halftime, Clemson 40, 26. Also today, before the game at Bon Secours, Deshaun Watson was there to be honored as South Carolina. The South Carolina Football Hall of Fame. South Carolina Football Hall of Fame. He talked with the media for a few minutes, and here he goes talking about it was nice to get a little bit of a break after the national championship game before getting back into football work.
I got my rest in, of course, and I just really sat back and got back situated with schoolwork and just try to reflect on the 2015 season. And it's been a this is a special year, but outside of just going out in public, it's been kind of crazy. But that's probably going to be the rest of my life. So I've gotten used to it, but I've been sitting around thinking about what we accomplished and how special this year has been, and how 2016 can be an even better year.
Particularly coming off the knee injury, did you ever imagine having individually as a team in the year?
I did. That was the reason why I chose to come to Clemson as a 15-year-old. I knew this time and these moments was going to come, and Coach Sweeney just told me to buy into the process and get guys around you and make people around you better. And moments like this is going to happen. We're going to play for national championships, and we had our opportunity, and it won't be again before we plan for another one. So that was the reason why I came here. And even though I had some adversity last year with the injuries, I knew that this time was coming, and it was just the right amount of people around us putting in that work.
Sean, how does it feel to follow Taj and Vic as a recipient of this award?
It's an honor. I want to thank South Carolina, Hall of Fame football club, for giving me the award and picking me for being the player of the year. It's huge. It's truly a blessing to just be able to to receive it, and it's just all the hard work that I've been putting in, and just the players and coaches that surround me that make me better, and having that great support cast around me make me a better player.
You said Matt Drill started yesterday. What's the mood like? What's the team like? You guys coming back now and getting ready for 2016?
It's great. We all know where we've been and where we really want to go. Now we have to finish, and for us to finish, we got to start all the way over, start from scratch, and grind even harder. What we did last year is not going to win the games with this year. So we got to go 2 times harder than what we did last year, and have that right mindset, and take it one day at a time, and whenever the season roll around, take it one game at a time and finish the drill.
Okay, Deshaun Watson, I think K-Mac is accurate when he calls him the face of college football for 2016. Especially with Derrick Henry moving on to the NFL. Now, there'll be some other hotshot quarterbacks around the country that can rise up as well next year. But you'd have to say, coming off the year they had with the team they have coming back, where they will be in the preseason and where they should be as they work their way through that schedule. Now, the face of college football lives in Clemson, South Carolina. K-Mac will join us from Greenville, Bon Secours Arena, in a moment. leading at halftime over Pittsburgh 40. Sorry about that, the LB. Did I jump the gun? I did. Okay. Clemson leading over Pittsburgh at halftime 40-26. Quite a performance in the first half for the Tigers. K-Mac joins us from the well. Well, not much not to like in the first half of the Tigers' performance.
Yeah, they played very well here at the Well, Corn. They had a week off. You think maybe they're a little rusty. Maybe they'll cool off a little bit after that hot streak. But no, they came out of the gate hot. De'Ron Blossomgame came out hot, scored the first 5 points of this game, blocked a shot, has 15 at the half. Roper has 10 points, just stifling defense for the Tigers. Here's another stat. They've made 37 free throws in a row. It goes back a few games, but that's a school record and then some. Just impressive basketball right now for Clemson.
Wow. 37 in a row from the line is fantastic. How is Blossomgame getting it done? He's got 5 field goals, 2 from – but, I mean, how are they using him? How are they getting him free for shots?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Blossomgame, and I think that's what makes him a tough guard, is he can go inside, and he can get you inside, or he can step out and hit threes, as he's hit a couple tonight. He's perfect from the free throw line. He's grabbed a couple rebounds. He's one of the most complete players in the ACC right now, and he's playing as well as anybody in the conference.
I thought I recognized that music in the background. They got the plate lady out there tonight. She's one of the great attractions at halftime in college basketball.
Yeah, she is really doing it now. She's got about 20 bowls on the top of her head on a huge unicycle, and she's going for the grand finale here, Corn. I think she's going to do it. I think she's going to get them all in her head.
I've seen her drop one occasionally here and there, but by and large, that's one of the most amazing acts that you will see at halftime acts in basketball, having her on that big unicycle throwing the plates and bowls on top of her head.
It's all in the haircut.
Yeah.
There was somebody out there, a parent, that said, "You're breaking all my bowls. You're never going to do anything in life," and now look at her.
Yeah. How's the crowd looking?
It's filled in okay. I mean, it's not a great crowd. The lower bowl's pretty close to full, and just a few people upstairs. But it's your typical, I guess, Tuesday night crowd 50 miles away from your campus.
Yeah, it's tough. I know. Still, there's enough people in Greenville who are Clemson fans to get off their honker and get to the arena and support this team that's playing so well. Also, considering they're going to go on a 3-game road trip here, you're not going to see them for a while.
I don't think came had the water or whatever in that locker room. They need to take it back to Little John when it's refurbished.
All right, K-Mac, enjoy the second half here on CBS.
I'll do it. Thanks, guys. Oh, she landed it. She landed it.
Enjoy the second half here on CBS. By the way, catch K-Mac's coverage. Catch K-Mac's coverage of the game on our website, Sports Talk SC.
These teams could be both South Carolina and Clemson in the tournament.
In the tournament, bite your tongue. Clemson goes to Florida State, Wake Forest, and Virginia Tech. They don't return to Greenville until February 8th for 3 in a row. They hold on to win here and take 2 out of 3 on the road. Look out. All right, thank you, Pro. Thank you, LB. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.